most important. Have that in your mind.
Yes, sir, I understand.
Right, right. Good, good. Good morning, Mannan and Naman. Both of
Good
you.
morning, sir.
Good morning, good morning. So please just acknowledge, guys. I'm just going to present the screen. Once you're able to see the screen, just let me know. Yeah. Can you see that?
Yes, sir.
Right, right. Okay, let's stay back, guys, to let the other join. Then we'll give it a start.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, please. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's session, the very first session of the week. Can you all hear me clearly? See, no response at all.
Yes, sir.
The
Yes,
time is
sir.
up, yeah. I think you should respond. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Can you all see the screen as well?
Yes, sir.
Fine. Thanks for the acknowledgement. See, guys, during the last week, as you know, we did discuss the Laburnum top, and in that, we had a word about the summary, poem, message, all that, and then we moved on to these extract-based questions, MCQs, and some quiz also. By the way, did you guys attend the quiz? Was that open? The quiz that was shared with you yesterday in the evening. Did you open it at least? Is there anybody who opened it? Don't say no. Is there anybody? Can somebody please just try opening it right now? Just go to your WhatsApp. At least I should know that it is getting opened. Yeah, you may try it later on. Pawan, can you just open that? Open the class WhatsApp group
Yes, sir.
and just try to open that quiz. As you know, we just utterly failed in just getting that quiz during the live session. I hope you remember. And so I just wanted you to confirm that one. Please just open it up. Is it getting open? Take your time, but just do it fast.
Yes, sir.
3, 2, 1, go. Then is it getting open?
1 minute, sir. It's opening.
Yeah. Please just confirm that once it is open. And just select the option for the first question also and move on. And let me know if it is working properly.
Sir, it is asking for code.
Shit. Is it asking for code? Oh my goodness.
Yes, sir.
This is what I wanted you to confirm. See, I've just sent the quiz only, yeah. I mean, straight away you should attempt it. One moment. Let me just find out the code and let you know the code. Just one moment. Chanakya. Yeah. Shruti Taka. See, where is the code? Code. Just one moment. Is it not showing any code over there? I think I again failed in just providing that. If you can just see this one, I'll show you. If you can just see this one, you get my point. All of you just, can you all see the screen, please? Which has just been generated. Now, if I just click on this,
sir.
it directs me straight away to the quiz. It's not asking me any
They
code.
ask for a code.
Just one moment. Let it be open. It'll be very nice, to see. See? Why did the goldfinch bird came towards the tree to feed the young ones? See, this is giving me a good feeling, yeah? How was the tree standing in the month of September? Still and death-like. I hope you're now able to get my point. This is the problem. So I need to just resend that one. Okay, let's just not talk about that one. Coming back to this one, I'll see to it, okay? Don't worry. But today in this class, we'll be having a word about this one. Give me a bit of time, please, to find it out. What the exact problem, how I'm not able to turn that into a quiz and assign that to you to attempt it. No, sometimes we need to have the questions in this way only, so that our interest will not be killed and we feel enthusiastic to do that. Right. Okay, in this class, we will be talking about this lesson, the third chapter, Discovering Tut, the saga continues. As usually, we just talk about the background and introductory part of this lesson today in this class, and detailed discussion has to be done by you after providing the detailed explanation. Let me just try to talk about this one. Okay, just give me a moment. I have one more thing to do. Just 21 members. Please just give me a moment. Right. As usually, we will be just, starting that with a bit of discussion, and that's what we are going to take it up. With that, let me just have this one. It's taking huge amount of time. Please just wait. Yeah.
King Tutankhamun's name is as famous as historical titans like Julius Caesar, Genghis Khan, and Alexander the Great. But thanks to meticulous historical research and advances in DNA analysis, researchers have found that the actual person behind the King Tutankhamun's name.
Well, can you all see the screen, please?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
See, this is going to be very interesting lesson, guys. It's all about history, the mummies, pyramids. It's all about Egypt and their, mysterious culture. It's just like watching a, movie, Hollywood movies like The Mummy Returns, all that. It is just like that. But that much tempo will not be there. It's all about one king, that is Tutankhamun, popularly known as King Tut. Okay, it's all about him. So before we talk about this lesson, let's try to know who he is. And this video will talk about him. Listen to it, and then we will get back to the lesson, the writer, everybody. And is the audio also clear? Can somebody please acknowledge if the audio is also clear?
Yes, sir.
Famous
Yes, sir, it's clear.
Julius Caesar, Genghis Khan, and
So let me just start it. Yeah, thanks for the acknowledgement. Try to listen to it. It is having a span of about 12 minutes. Don't feel disinterested. It's all about, the king, popular king about whom we have the lesson. And there's a point behind the prescription of this lesson as well. We all take up for the discussion once we are thorough with who he is. So let me start it right from the very beginning. Please just sit at a place where you receive better signal strength so that there won't be any lagging. All right? Now see.
King Tutankhamun's name is as famous as historical titans like Julius Caesar, Genghis Khan, and Alexander the Great. But thanks to meticulous historical research and advances in DNA analysis, researchers have found that the actual person behind the name isn't as well known as was once commonly believed. But who was the young man we would come to call King Tut? How did he live? How did he die? And what kind of ruler was he? To find out, today we're going to take a look at some weird facts about King Tut. But before we get started, be sure to subscribe to the Weird History channel and let us know in the comments below what other Egyptian topics you'd like to hear about. Now, when he was a young man, he never thought he'd see people stand in line to see the boy king. King Tut, how'd you get so funky? Born around 1341 BCE, Tutankhamun was the son of the powerful pharaoh Akhenaten. After his father died in 1330,
Pharaoh means king. Pharaoh means king. Okay?
two minor kings reigned over Egypt until Tut was old enough to take the throne. That finally happened in 1332, and Tut ruled for roughly the next 8 or 9 years. It is considered to be his act of restoring Egypt to the polytheistic world of the god Amun. His father had converted the whole kingdom to Atenism, a monotheistic religion centered on the cult of the god Aten. But it didn't turn out to be a particularly popular move. Tut died in 1323, at only 19 years old. He was buried in a hastily built, though still ornately decorated tomb, which was eventually forgotten. That would have been the end of his story, but in 1922, British researcher Howard Carter rediscovered the tomb. The media coverage of the treasures he found inside would make the obscure young pharaoh one of the most famous rulers in world history. To us, he's King Tut, but the ancient Egyptians never called him that. Before ascending to the throne, he was known as Tutankhaten, which means living image of Aten. After being crowned, he became Tutankhamun. Amun, also known as Amun-Ra, was the chief deity of Egyptian mythology, which means that this name change applied a pretty significant promotion for Tut. But those names were just the tip of the iceberg. Tut was also known by a variety of other monikers that reflected various aspects of the divine role he assumed as pharaoh. Some of these other names included, well, I'm not even going to attempt these names. Imagine trying to order a drink at Starbucks with one of those names. As with European ruling families of the 19th century, incest was common among Egyptian royalty. Keeping noble bloodlines pure was a big priority, and to that end, it is generally believed that Tut's parents were brother and sister. In fact, tests were performed on Tut's mitochondrial DNA by the Institute for Mummies and Icemen, which sounds like something I would be streaming late night on Netflix, but is actually a research group from Italy. Inherited from only the mother, this DNA revealed that Tut's mom was the genetic sister of the pharaoh Akhenaten, who was known to be Tut's father. However, despite the DNA evidence, historians aren't really sure who Tut's mother actually was. Some believe she was the famous Queen Nefertiti, who was one of Akhenaten's wives. But without new evidence, there's just no way to be sure. For now, in the technical language of Egyptian studies, she is only known as the Younger Lady, which is also something that might be in my queue to stream. Being a product of your family hooking up may have protected the royal family's bloodline in a social sense, but in a genetic sense, it was bad news. As a result of the practice, Tut had a number of prominent physical disfigurements. Contrary to the virile boy immortalized in his famous death mask, the real Tut probably had a severe overbite, a curved spine, a severely disfigured foot, extremely slim hips, a skewed face, and on top of all that, epilepsy. He also likely had pronounced breasts and lived most of his short life in extreme pain. Maybe not so good to be king. Tut had a severe clubfoot, which meant he needed help walking. This is backed up by the fact that over 100 different walking sticks and canes were found in his tomb. Along with them were special stools used for shooting with a bow and arrow. No one fully understood why Tut was buried with these implements until a virtual autopsy was performed and the clubfoot was revealed.
This is something you need to pay more attention to, please.
Tut's reign as pharaoh was short and, historically speaking, relatively
Reign means the period of ruling. Okay?
uneventful. During his time, the kingdom was involved in a few minor military campaigns against their enemy, the Hittites. Tut likely had no role in these battles, but he did probably play at least some role in reviving the worship of Amun and moving the capital of Egypt from Amarna back to Thebes. He also restored many places and temples that were destroyed in previous conflicts. Tut was only 9 when he took the throne, so he needed strong advisors to help him make decisions. Luckily, he had them. The first of his powerful deputies was Horemheb, the commander-in-chief of the Egyptian army. The second was Grand Vizier Ai, an old soldier turned counselor who many suspect was the true power behind the throne. The theory is bolstered by the fact that Ai directly succeeded Tut as pharaoh after his death. However, Ai only reigned for 4 years before he died as well. Ai was succeeded by Horemheb, who subsequently did everything in his power to erase Akhenaten, Tut, and Ai from the historical record. Maybe he was angry about being initially passed over for the promotion. Good management relies on good communication, everybody. It's timeless advice. Tut was married shortly after ascending to the throne. As was the family tradition, his bride was a relative, his own half-sister, Ankhesenamun. She is believed to have been a few years older than Tut, but in truth, little is known about her. Like Tut, she was a child of Akhenaten, and may have even been married to him. Her mother was likely Queen Nefertiti, who, if you recall, also might have been Tut's mom. For those of you keeping score, Tut's wife was definitely his half-sister, possibly his blood sister, and maybe his stepmom. But hey, family stuff, it's complicated. Among the other artifacts, Tut's tomb contained 2 small coffins which held the mummified remains of 2 babies, daughters who were likely twins. DNA analysis confirms they were the children of Tutankhamun and Ankhesenamun. Possibly due to inbreeding, one of the girls was found to have a severe spinal defect, and neither appeared to have been born alive. Theories as to why Tut died so young are a dime a dozen, and include everything from genetic abnormalities and diseases to outright murder. But a 2010 study found that the boy king probably perished from a malarial infection after he broke his leg. Elements of his genetics probably also had something to do with it, as they likely weakened his immune system, making him especially vulnerable to such conditions. Tut's brittle bones have led a number of experts to believe that he had been crushed, possibly in a chariot accident. However, a virtual autopsy conducted in 2014 found that most of the breaks occurred after the king was already in the afterlife. Possibilities include that the bones were broken during the embalming process, or even in the stages of excavating his tomb. Researchers also point out that Tut's severe physical deformities made it unlikely he would have been able to get into a chariot. After Tut was gone, Ai continued the reforms that the boy king had initiated. The country returned to its worship of Amun, and the cult of Aten was discarded. However, no good deed goes unpunished. When Ai's successor Horemheb took power, he took it all a step further and began to outright purge all references to Aten, Akhenaten, Tut, and Ai from Egyptian history and architecture. Temples and monuments that referenced Aten or any of the kings in his line were destroyed. The capital was moved from Thebes to Memphis. Tut was forgotten, and his burial site was built over. Horemheb's purge might have erased Tut from the memories of the ancients, but it also had an unintended consequence. Because the boy king was almost entirely forgotten by history and considered fairly insignificant, his tomb had been largely overlooked by looters. Other tombs have been discovered by other foreign expeditions, but none were nearly as well preserved as Tut's. This isn't to say the tomb was entirely untouched. The outer seal had been broken, and evidence showed that it had been robbed at least twice in ancient times. Nonetheless, the sheer volume of artifacts was so massive, it took 8 years to empty the tomb and catalog it all. The idea that a person who disturbs an Egyptian tomb will suffer a curse didn't start with King Tut's tomb. Similar superstitions about other tombs date back at least to the 19th century. The massive publicity surrounding Howard Carter's 1922 discovery, however, made Tut's curse the most famous, especially when a number of Carter's team members died within a few years of finding the tomb. Skeptics point out that a dozen years after the tomb and sarcophagus were opened, 50 out of 58 of the people present were still alive. most of those who died were either older or in high-risk professions. Of course, 100% of those people are dead today, so we can't rule out the possibility the curse just takes a long time. The discovery of Tut's tomb and the implied story of a young boy ascending to become the most powerful ruler of his time had a great allure in pop culture. As early as 1922, the same year the tomb was opened, imaginations already ran wild with Tut fever as the artifacts toured the world. But the strangest manifestation of the fad may be the buffoonish villain King Tut from the 1966 Batman series starring Adam West. Played by actor Victor Buono, this version of Tut was an adult Egyptologist who got hit on the head and became convinced he was the ancient Egyptian ruler. He tried taking over Gotham City, which brought him into conflict with Batman, who foiled the villain with some biffs, bams, and of course, pows. Maybe even a few kapows. No rundown of important facts about King Tut would be complete without a mention of the novelty song King Tut by legendary funny man Steve Martin. As the touring Treasures of Tutankhamun exhibit captured the world's imagination, Martin released his song as a single.
So the rest is not much required actually. It's all about a few references that the people have created. It's just because to satisfy their curiosity, inquisitiveness, and for being information hungry. That's it. Okay. They all belong to Hollywood only, by the way. So it's all about a bit. It's a bit about the most popular pharaoh of Egypt, King Tut, whose original name, of course, Tutankhamun. Okay, now that's a bit about him. I know that some of you could not completely understand because of the fact that there were some technical terms, pharaoh, reign, there are sun disk, Aten, Amun, there are many words. So we will try to, discuss all those so that you feel more and more interested in this. Okay. Now, let's have a word about it. Now we came to know who he is. He is one of the most popular kings that the Egyptian culture has ever had. There are many surprising facts. He was just 9 years old when he came to the throne. And by the time he died, he was just 19. And he had strangely he got married to his own blood sister and had 2 babies. One was born undead and the other one unborn but died. See, like this, there are many surprising facts, and he was just suffering from many submorbidities. There is something related to ankle, there is something related to spine, so genetic disorders, etc., etc. All those were there. And there are many mysterious things that surrounded his death, how it had happened. And some said that it was natural death. Some said that it might have happened when he just fell down to the ground while on the chariot. And some said that, okay, probably he was murdered. There are many things, in fact. But the most surprising fact is that his tomb was left untouched till the discovery of Howard Carter. That excavist, just revealed it to the entire world in the year 1922. And once that was revealed to the world, and so everyone got surprised, and there was huge wealth dumped in his tomb. And that took almost 8 years to excavate all the things. That means safely to take them out. It's not that, it is something available in supermarket. You'll go there, pick it up, and come out. No, you need to take them out very carefully without being broken, without damaging it. So try to understand. It took almost 8 years. See, there are many other videos which you need to watch to form a better picture. I'll float 4 to 5 videos for you guys. The first one, introduction, already done. Even then I'll float that with you. I'll share that with you. Then how he led his life will be detailed in the second one. And what happened to him and what really made him die is the third one. And see, in the fourth one, what you can see is the most surprising thing. what was there in the tomb. See, all these videos must be watched so that you will form a better picture about him. Are we clear so far?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That's great. Now let me just give it a try to talk about what we actually see in this. See, this is written by A.R. Williams. See, this guy has had, of course, a great deal of love towards reading at a very young age. You don't believe. Before he stepped into the first class, he was very much inclined and he was very much interested in reading. And he used to write a lot of fiction. See, this interest later turned out to be a profession, and he wrote many fictitious stories. So this work has appeared in Heroic Fantasy Quarterly, Three Cows, Crow Press, and Everyday Fiction. So A.R. Williams received an honorable mention in the fourth quarter of the Writers of Future contest in the year 2010, and he is still alive. Okay, that's a bit about him. Now, what can you see in this? See, this is just like any other article written by A.R. Williams regarding the most famous and popular King Tutankhamun, famously or popularly known as Tut or King Tut. See, he was the, as you know, as you have watched, the last heir to the powerful throne of Egypt. And later, came, but he was not the heir of the dynasty of kings and emperors. He was serving as the chief advisor, one of the two chief advisors to King Tut, as he was very young. And later, he just rose to the throne, but he was not from the dynasty of kings. So we can say that he was and therefrom, there were no kings or emperors. There were no people who assumed the power from the dynasty of kings. And so he became the last heir of the dynasty of kings and emperors. So we can say 15 or 18 or 19. That's also not clear. And his death, in fact, speculated. See, people, had different stories around his death after the discovery of his tomb by Howard Carter. See, many felt that he could have been murdered, assassinated for political reasons. Now, what can we see in this? See, its tomb, Tut's tomb, was discovered by Howard Carter, a British archaeologist, in the year 1922. See, there is a place in the Egypt, King's Valley, or the Valley of Kings, and where all the kings, emperors who ruled Egypt were mummified and buried. See, this one, and of course, many people who just robbed off these tombs and, in order to get the wealth, could not actually find this place before the discovery. And so his tomb was actually undeterred and untouched or undamaged till its discovery. And in that Valley of Kings, this Howard Carter, British archaeologist, in the year 1922, discovered this one. And along with his coffin, there were other items of daily use, like board games, bronze razor, shaving kit, linen undergarments, food, wine. As you know, they had a sentiment that the people who live and die on earth will have their afterlife. And for afterlife, whatever they liked during their life on the earth will be buried. It can be things, food items, or even people. And there used to be such sentiment. And so they were able to find lots of items like that included some board games, bronze razor, linen undergarments, food, wine, etc. in that tomb once it was discovered. Are you guys able to follow me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
That's great. And next thing. See, after Howard Carter started investigating the three coffins, other than the coffin means that the box in which the dead body or mummified body of King Tut was kept. That is called coffin. So can you see that coffin? This one, this one. This is the one he was referring to. There were 3 more coffins. All right. See, the first one contained shroud adorned with garlands, lotus petals, olives, and cornflowers. See, the last one, just like you see, some of the boxes kept inside the other ones, like one within one, one within the other, one within the other, one within the other. You see some of the boxes, in shopping malls being kept in one within one. The smaller one will be in the innermost place, and a little bigger one will have it inside it, and that one will be in the other bigger one, like that. So there were 3 more coffins, and in the fourth coffin, the actual body was kept. Did you get that point?
Yes, sir.
So you please just understand that what could be seen in the other 2 coffins. The first one contained garlands, lotus petals, olives. Olives means olive petals, olive tree, cornflowers, all that. The last coffin contained Tut's body. See, how was it seen? It was cemented to the bottom of his solid gold coffin. It was not made of wood, but made of gold. Just understand that one. And it was cemented, stuck, glued to the bottom of it. And due to the hardening of ritual resins, those fluids, liquid substances that they used while mummifying him or putting him in the coffin, they got hardened and got cemented. They did not use anything else to stick him to the bottom of that coffin, but all those resins, ritual resins, fluids that they used while mummifying him and putting him in the coffin, they just got deposited at the bottom of the body, mummified body, and made it harden, stuck to the bottom of the coffin. And that's what they could understand. And so when they wanted to remove it from there, they had to try different methods. It's not that I told you, it's not that they can simply go inside and pick the thing up and come out. No, they have to deal with that very delicately without damaging anything. So they tried using the sun's heat. They've simply put the coffin, got it exposed to the sun in order to loosen the resins, but actually that proved to be negative. In fact, that extreme heat, instead of losing that mummified body, that damaged the tissue of the body, of the mummified body. And so they just stopped the very idea. Then he just ordered his men to remove the mummy's head first. That means cutting it out, and to sever nearly every major joint, to reassemble them on a sand layer so that they can have the shape once again. Because they were not able to remove the whole body at once. So what he had ordered his men, Howard Carter, the British archaeologist, to cut the important joints, including the head, to reassemble them to have the previous shape. So they did it like that, and anyhow, they just got the body, mummified body, removed from the coffin, gold coffin, the last one. After more than 40 years after the discovery, see, it was discovered in 1920s. Now, after 40 years, in the year 1968, an anatomy professor X-rayed the mummy of King Tut, and it revealed that beneath the resins, that fluids, his breastbone and front ribs were missing. See, he was able to find that when his mummified body was X-rayed. His breastbone and front ribs were missing. Breastbone and front ribs. Breastbone means the one which is straight towards the navel, the belly, starting from the middle of the collar, two collarbones. You can see the breastbone, and around which our ribs will go around, and that one is missing, the main one, and front ribs also missing. He found that. Who found it? Not Howard Carter, but anatomy professor. When? After the discovery of this mummified body, after 40 years, in the year 1968. Then a CT scan was performed, computed tomography, popularly known as CT scan. So this mummified body underwent CT scan. It is done by National Geographic Society and Siemens. So it scanned Tut's body from top to bottom, creating a mammoth of 1,700 digital X-ray images in cross-section, something huge. How many? 1,700 digital X-ray images. That's something mammoth, huge it was. And the story gives an insight into the mystery surroundings of the life and death of Tutankhamun after the CT scan. See, till the CT scan was done, there were many stories gossiping around, or roaming around, or circling around about the life and death of this guy. But this one, after the CT scan, it gave an insight, a clear picture into the mystery surrounded the life and death of Tutankhamun, the last teenage ruler of the powerful Pharaoh dynasty that had ruled Egypt for centuries. So he was said to be the last of his family line, and his funeral brought to an end to this powerful dynasty. Not much is known about his family. That is what they could understand. Now, if you just talk about a bit of his life and of course, the circumstances that led to assuming the power is given here. See, Tut's father or grandfather, nobody knew that one. Amenhotep III, that is the name of the king, just like King Edward II, King Edward III, something like this. Amenhotep III was a powerful pharaoh who ruled for about 4 decades. That means 40 years during the dynasty's golden age. And his son, Amenhotep IV, probably the father of Tut, shocked the country by attacking Amun. Amun means moon god, we can say, moon god, major god. See, just like we have different gods, they used to worship Amun and Aten. Aten means sun disk god, Amun means some other god. Okay. See, after the golden rule of Amenhotep III, Tut's father or grandfather, nobody knew that, for over 4 decades, the next pharaoh shocked the whole world by just attacking the god that they worshipped so far. They had worshipped so far. That is Amun. He smashed his images, closed all the temples built for that god, and he has even changed his name, okay, to Akhenaten. Akhenaten. Aten means sun god, because he supported sun god, smashed Amun, the other god. I mean, the popularity of him by just smashing the images, closing the temples, all that. And he has even changed the name to Akhenaten, whose original name is Amenhotep IV, and promoted the worship of Aten, the sun disk god. Are we clear so far? We are towards the end of it.
Yes.
Are you able to follow, or am I not making any sense? Right. Next one. See, after his death, a mysterious ruler. Mysterious means nobody knew nothing or much about him. His name is, Menkaure. We really can't pronounce their names properly. S remains silent. That's what I heard. So Menkaure, we can say Menkaure. Okay. And he appeared to have a short span of ruling. And so nobody knew much about him. and he just left the throne, leaving hardly any traces about him. And then came this popular king, King Tut, just at the age of 9 years. And he changed his name from Tutankhaten to Tutankhamun and restored the old ways of worshipping the god Amun. See, the previous guy, Amenhotep 4, tried to erase the traces of god Amun. But Tutankhaten, who changed his name into Tutankhamun, restored all those. But he ruled for about 9 years and then died mysteriously and unexpectedly. Try to understand? See, here he died mysteriously and unexpectedly. And in order to unravel the mystery of his death, his mummy was scanned after 1,000 years. See, if you remember, when was he dead? Around 1300 BC. And almost after 1,000 years, it was done in the year 1900. So literally, that you need to understand. So it opened new perceptions regarding the cause of his death. That scanning helped. It was scanned in the year 2005. X-ray was done in the year 1968. But scanning, CT scan was done in the year 2005 under the supervision of Jahi Hawass, Secretary General of Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities. And this computed tomography scan, CT scan in short, couldn't solve the mysterious death of Tut, but gave us some clues about the cause of his death for sure. And that's what is discussed. So it also provides a comprehensive awareness about the ancient Egyptian culture, how they used to live, how they used to be mummified, what they used to be buried with, all that. So some idea about the Egyptian culture. And as I said earlier, there used to be a belief among the Egyptians that the people who were born and lived on this earth will have their afterlife, a phase called afterlife, after their death, and depart their soul from this earth. So that is the reason why all those kings or pharaohs are mummified. That means they are just wrapped up with rare liquids, all that. That is called mummification, and kept undamaged. And they are buried with the other things that they liked when they lived. It can be things, people, food items, clothes, etc. So they felt that they would have afterlife phase and where they use all these things. And that's a bit about it. And that CT scan revealed the superb face of King Tut, shrouded under this golden mask, which became a huge hit. See, this is not a created one, please. It was the one kept on his face in the golden coffin. You might have definitely seen this image somewhere. And that was really existed, and that was used to cover the face of this guy after his death and mummified, and when he was mummified. And that 1,700 digital X-rays, cross-section images helped to put together to reveal the face of this guy. And that's how it is. Something very interesting. A person who lived almost 1,000 years ago, lived and died, whose face is beyond recognition, but with the help of CT scan done in the year 2005 under the supervision of Jair. So we were able to, in fact, come to know how he looked like. And these are all the things discussed back in the lesson. But in order to appreciate all this, you need to understand who he is, how the culture was, all that. And the videos that I promised will help you out to understand. And what was found in his tomb, all that will help you out to appreciate and enjoy this lesson. Are we clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. So please just wait for the stuff to be floated or shared with you guys. And once that is done, just try to, do not postpone it, please. Just try to go through all that. And then we will, and there will be a detailed explanation as well. So we will just take it up. And then, see, I have covered almost all the important essentials. There won't be nothing more than that. Even then, just go through the detailed explanation along with those videos. And if there are any concerns, please just put them forward in the next class. We will just discuss them. And then moving on to, as usually, MCQs or extract-based questions, all that. So the attendance also seems to be ready. Now let me wrap up the session. Wishing you a good day ahead. Thank you and be ready for the next class, guys. You may now leave. Please go ahead. If
Thank
everything
you,
is clear. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.